Hi everybody, it's Ellen. I have another tutorial for you. This time it is for my fishnet bracelet. The reason why I called it that is particularly this one reminded me of fishnet stockings. So that's where that name came from. A couple different ways to do it. I actually did this tutorial once before and I made this one in the tutorial and I thought it was just kind of ugly, so I didn't even finish editing that tutorial. So I'm trying again. Hopefully this one will look a little better. A couple different color options here. And what I think is neat about this bracelet is that besides the fact that it encloses the white bands in here, or whatever you have, it also has these little kind of picot loops on the sides, and I think that's just very pretty. So I'll show you how to do that. And get started here. So this one does take 5 pin bars again. I suppose you could probably make a half version of this on less pin bars, but I guess this is just how I originally made it this way. But it's fairly simple. The layout isn't too difficult. We're going to first start by my black bands here. We're going to do this first row. So it's just, we're going to go up the side here in kind of a zigzag pattern. So starting on your red arrow side, the pin bars are even. On this second peg, we're going to go to the outside and go in and out. We're just going to do this all the way down the loom. Just a zigzag pattern. Like this. So once you get to the top, you'll come back to the beginning and you're just going to do a zigzag out the other way. So this way, and then come back into the top of this little diamond here and go back out, come back in, and just do that all the way up the loom again. And we still have to do this 2 more times for the rest of the bracelet. I am going to show you how to extend this bracelet because it is a rather short piece. Shorter than most of the pieces that I make, so I'll show you how to extend it. There's a couple special things with that we have to lay bands for. But then we'll come back here to the beginning, come to this pin, and go over back towards the other side, and then just do that zigzag pattern up the loom. Like that. And we just have to do one more time. So back here to the beginning, starting at this pin, zigzag out to the right, and then come back in. And just take that all the way down to the end of the loom. Like that. And while we're down here, we'll put some end caps on the end here. Like so. So just on these 2 pins we'll end caps. And we'll come back to the beginning. And this is where we're going to lay our filler bands for the inside. This is kind of where it gets, I guess, a little tricky if you want to show the little loops better. Because you have to accentuate them as you're doing it. And how I do that is that starting down here in this diamond, every band that comes out to the left here, or right here, you want that to be a different color than the other bands on the inside. And that's how you get this little pop of color on the side. So what I mean by that is that I'm going to go, and we're going to lay a starburst in here, but it's only a 4-pin starburst, I guess. So we're going to lay a plus sign. So just from the center, we're going to go out. And then on this last pin that goes out to the side of the bracelet, I'm going to put a different color. So I can do that in every square or diamond up this side of the loom. So start making your plus sign, and then a different color right here. If you don't care about the different color for these, then just do them all however you want to, but that's just how that gets in there. So again, start with a little plus sign, and as you get to the last one, a different color. We'll just do that in every diamond. Alright, so now we have that up the left side, and we're going to repeat that up the right side now. So if you come back to the beginning, you'll make that same plus sign in this diamond. And if you want to have the little colored loops that pop off the side, then it's this band right here that you would have a different color, like that. So then you just do that in every diamond here up the loom. A couple more to go here. And then the last one. Right. So we have them up the left side and up the right side. Now we're going to come back to the beginning and we're going to go up the middle. And we are going, if you're going to extend this bracelet, you're going to want to fill in this with a few bands. If you're not going to extend it, then don't fill up this space here or this space here. You can do your extensions, your single extensions here if you want, but don't. If you are going to extend it, and how I'm going to show you, then we are going to fill up this space, and we're just going to make a T, I guess, right here. So just make that, fill that space up if you're going to extend it. But then we go up and we put our plus sign pattern into each of the diamonds. And we'll just do that all the way up the loom. And then you actually stop in this diamond. You won't put anything up here. So like that. So this will be the end of the bracelet when we loom, and then this will be where we connect it on this end. So we have a little T in there. Alright, so now end caps. We need to put end caps onto every single center of the diamonds. So I just double banded them. But here's one diamond, and we'll just put the end cap in the center of that. So basically wherever the pluses meet that we made, they need an end cap there. Including, for doing the extending, you need the end cap here as well. Oops. And the last row. Alright, so that is all of the bands we need to lay. So now just make sure you put the end caps in the right spots. Sometimes I like to put them on a different part, so I'm just checking that. Alright, so that's everything. And then we're going to turn our loom around and do our looping. And we're just going to go in through the end caps and pull the bands out. I'm actually going to start with the middle row. It probably doesn't matter as much if your colors are more, if it was all white on the inside except for the little color loop I had, it probably didn't matter where I started, but just for uniformity, I'm going to start in the middle and loom these out first. So sticking my cap in through the end cap and looming out that little plus sign we made. All the way down the middle. And then you will loom out this part here too, the little T we put on. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to loom out the sides. So, for me, my colored bands are on top, but I don't think it really matters as far as how the color pops. So I'm just going to loom these all out now. If you'll notice, a lot of our middle pieces where they meet, there are quite a few bands there. So when we get there, you'll want to be careful with your hook. Alright, so that's that side. I'll come back and do the other side. Go back in through the end cap and loom them out. Top band first. Now I have all the starbursts, or the little plus signs. Alright, and then what we're going to do is do our the perimeter bands, or the fishnet, I guess. So if you'll come over to this side and go in through the end cap and pull the top band like that, and we're just going to go all the way up this one little row here, all the way up to the end. So let's grab the top band when you get into the center part here. And it is a little tight, not horrible, but careful with your bands and your hook. I'm actually going to switch hooks. We're just grabbing the top band all the way up this side. And you'll stop when you get up to there. And come back to the beginning, and we're going to do the next zigzag all the way up. So now it's the bottom band there, and then over here it will be the top band. And I broke one. So we're just going all the way up. When we're over here, it's the top band. And then when we're over here, it is the bottom band. Alright, like that. Then we go back down to our point, and we're going to go up this side of the zigzag. And it's the top band here, and it'll be the bottom band over here. Like that. And go back and do the last side, so this one's a little easier. Alright, so that is all the looping. It's just a lot of repetitive work and making sure you get the right band. And we'll find out right now if I did that or not. So down here at the end, you'll have two open points here and here. If you're not going to extend it, well, you wouldn't have this middle green part that I do. You just have to do 2 C-clips in the end here on the open parts. But I'm going to extend it, so I'm going to stick my hook in. And pull it off the loom. It might help if it's sticking to pull these off on the side too if you want. Here's what the first half of my bracelet looks like. Pretty sweet, I think. And then you can just pull these out to accentuate them a little more if you want to. Just kind of stretch it around to get it flat. Now, to extend it, we have Loom, still the same. The beginning by the red arrows, before we had the T right here, this time we don't have anything because this will be the end, the other end of the bracelet. So here we're going to leave it empty in the center. Otherwise everything else is the same up until the other end of the loom where we're going to attach this half of the bracelet. And what's different is that before this was empty, because this is where we started our last bracelet. This time we just add a middle band color and we're going to put that on our, that'll go through our existing tee that we had on the other one. So we want to get our pieces back on here. I'm actually going to also pop off this band and this band so that I can slide them up so that they're inside my colors here. So I just took off the bottom part of the tee there. So get this on here, and it is tight because there are a lot of bands right there that meet. Get that off. And if you want, if you can find it, there's our center end cap from our last tee. You can slide that on. And then put your last side over here. Like that. So that's what it looks like right now. Now, a couple things we're going to do. For the most part, I think that this will turn out alright once we re-loop these. The only thing I wanted to change was to get this band and actually the rest of its pieces underneath here, so it's inside my my outside. If that makes sense, I guess I'll show you what I mean. First, we want to start by we'll pull this band. I don't think it really matters where, but just so it's underneath the white, in my case, my white perimeter bands. I'm just going to pull it back up onto this peg. Maybe. There you go. Just going to pull it back up onto that peg. Do the same thing on the other side, just so it's somewhere in the color bands, or in the center bands. I know it'll probably matter a little bit because of how I did the, I loomed up the whole middle first, but for all intents and purposes, I don't think one little band will totally screw it up if it's not quite in the right spot. So I'm just pulling that back up, only one. Pulling that back up into the center of our little cap here. Like that. And now, because I laid these on exactly the same way as I did before, I need to loom out a little bit of this. And so for starters, I'm just going to loom out my center one right here. Just because that's how I did it on the other half. And then I'm going to go and loom out these two sides so I can show you how to connect the rest of this. So we're just going like this now. Just loom the whole thing out. Do that on both sides. Like this. So then the other thing that we need to do is we need to change where this band and this band are in relation to this color band that I flipped over, because we need the color band on or underneath those. So I'm just going to grab this one, pull it off, put these two on my hook, and then put this one back on. So now it's inside the color bands, with the color bands. And I'm just going to slide this back on top. And then the same thing over here. Just going to pull this off and hold on to it. Slide off these colored bands, or my white bands, I say slide off, like it'll happen so easy and then you can't get them. Alright, so pull those off and put the color band or just this middle plus band into the middle there, and put your perimeter bands back on top. So that should be everything I believe that matters the most as far as if making the design continuous so you don't see it. So as long as we've switched this band around a couple different places, then you should be fine. This one just loops up, and then just rotate the top ones. The bottom ones are fine where they are. So now you can just go up, loom out all your plus signs like you did before, and then go up and do your side bands. And I'll loom this all up, and then I'll be back with you to show you what it looks like when we take it off the loom. Okay, so now we have everything loomed and we're ready to take it off. We have our connection down here. So I'm just going to stick my hook in the end and pull this off, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so here's what it looks like. It looks pretty good, I think. Connection will be in here. We can't see it. So, definitely like how that one turned out. And I can't really notice where I just kind of tucked those bands in, even though I kind of made out of the other ones. Did the middle first on the outside, so I think it looks pretty good for the connection. And then I myself am going to use these to close it. I actually found these in the I guess the sewing notion section at Joann's. They're basically just giant hook and eyes, and I think they're great because they have the little holes on here that we can slide the bands through for connecting. And I'll do the same thing on this side. You know, there is quite a few more bands to go through. But this will take me a moment, it looks like. So there's one side. And the other side. So take my hook out, like that. So, this bracelet, even without the hook, it would definitely be long enough for a kid size or adult size. But I'm just going to use this to close it, like this. And I might even back these up a little bit so that it's even tighter. But I just think these are great because they work perfect for closing it. They're not the C-clips, and adds a little dazzle to them. I used them in a different video as well for my large granny square. So. That is my tutorial for my fishnet bracelet. I hope you like it. Definitely turns out pretty good, I think. So you have to give it a try. Obviously, like I said, I thought that one was horrible, so I had to do it again, but thank you for watching, and I will always have more tutorials. Oh, I was going to say, you can pull these out to make them more apparent too. So, Alright, now thank you for watching, and I appreciate it, and I'll have more. Thanks!